I'm not getting involved in every primary that comes across my desk, believe me. But I'm just looking at the Numbers USA chart. They have a chart on their website. And Ben Sass, who's that Senate primary candidate, the big primary tomorrow in Nebraska, they have a list of questions, right, about immigration. And they have a little color-coded way you can answer, and they judge him according to his public statements. Here are the following things that he's unknown. We have no information about his views on the following, okay? Ending birthright citizenship, his position, unknown. Ending chain migration, his position, unknown. Ending visa lotteries, his position, unknown. Ending worker importation, limiting worker importation, unknown. Reducing total immigration, his position, unknown. That's why he wouldn't sign that FAIR pledge, right, Chris? That's why he doesn't want to sign it, because he wants that wiggle room to go back to the Chamber of Commerce and all these other groups that are undoubtedly excited about his candidacy, if not downright supporting him financially, say, look, I'm not with those people. I'm fine for you to bring in a lot more STEM workers, or fine for you to bring in a lot more workers for the service industry. I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, and we as conservatives have to demand absolute clarity from our Republican primary candidates. It's not good enough now to say, I'm for securing the border. Heck, the Democrats say they're for securing the border, even though they're not.
Means nothing.
Yeah,
to
you
me.
have to say in very clear, explicit terms, I will reject any amnesty. I'll reject any program that attempts to give legal status en masse to illegal aliens. And he doesn't even come close to saying that. And whereas Osborne, true conservative all the way through, and unfortunately some Tea Party organizations, not necessarily the Tea Party people of Nebraska, but organizations are pushing Sass, and I'm afraid he's going to be a Chamber of Commerce establishment Republican, which is so ironic because he's holding himself out as a Tea Party person, but on immigration, which is an issue very, very important. I speak at many Tea Party rallies, and I'm sure
you have too. It's a litmus test for me. It's a litmus test. I mean, I don't have a lot of litmus tests. That's one of them.
Me too. And it is for most Tea Party people who go to these rallies and do the hard work on the ground. It's important to them too.
Hey, Chris, what about people who donate to these Tea Party groups? We found out that a lot of them are giving money because they just believe that the Tea Party is going to go out there and support the right candidates. They don't do their due diligence before they send in their $50 or $100 check. And meanwhile, some of these groups are paying huge salaries to their top staff, and they're spending an enormous amount of money on consultants and other people and their fundraising operation. And meanwhile, very little money going to actual candidates and good candidates who are good on these issues.
My advice to people, and I say this as someone who used to be on the RNC, don't give money to organizations. Don't give money to the party. Give the money to the conservative candidate. That's where your money will actually go to work. And just do your research. If you're thinking about writing a check, just give it to the candidate directly. And, 99 cents of your dollar will actually go toward advertising and getting the guy elected. Yeah, you give it to one of these organizations, chances are it may not go to a type of candidate you like, and a lot of it's just going to get eaten up in overhead.
Yeah, overhead and administrative costs. And I'm not saying that these groups haven't done some really great work, and I know they have, but I just think, what do you think of my point about the brand, the Tea Party brand?
I don't know. The brand does have a lot of traction, and conservatives around the country now see the Tea Party movement as, our movement.
What is the Tea Party movement, Chris? What is it, though? That's my point. What is the movement? What does it mean on immigration amnesty? What does it mean on issues of foreign policy that are still important? It's all about economics? That's it?
I think the Tea Party is without question against amnesty, but I think you have some people trying to hijack the name. And you have candidates, the Marco Rubio type, who will be conservative on some things, but when they come to amnesty, they're on the wrong side. They're trying to call themselves Tea Party, just like the Republican brand has been hijacked by a lot of liberal Republicans over the years. So I would say, maybe I disagree with you slightly, rather than try to change the name, let's just fight to protect it, because as soon as we have a more successful brand or a more true brand, then the establishment will try to hijack that one, too.
Yeah, I think my point is that young people, and I had a 24-year-old woman from Florida who called in last week and said, Laura, well, if I say I support the Tea Party, my friends' eyes just glaze over. They just have. But if I say, look, I'm focusing on the American renewal and American jobs for the middle class, and we really have to have a middle class agenda that addresses their hopes and dreams, then all of a sudden the kids are like, wow, that makes sense. You know what I mean? But when you say Tea Party, it's like, forget it. We're not even interested. That's a bunch of people dressed up in period garb. So, you know what I mean? Well, it's like Betsy Ross or whatever.
I hear you. And I think there'll always be that. You know, these brands get painted by the media. And there's some truth. The Tea Party does have a lot of people who are older, but that's okay, too. You know, it's
I just think it has to be a broad-based movement that doesn't have any baggage, that it's a broad-based American Dreams First movement, and I think you could change politics with the right person, with a more populist appeal on issues from trade to immigration to other workplace issues and regulation and the environment. I literally think you could change politics. I think it would be a lot more like the true Reagan understanding than much of what we're hearing in politics today. I'll let you close it out.
Well, you know, I think at this point we're 24 hours away from learning who the next Republican senator is in the Republican primary winner is in Nebraska, and so at this point, you know, the Tea Party is what it is, and it's the conservative brand right now. And I just hope people in Nebraska learn quickly that Sass is probably pro-amnesty. All the indicators are there, and you've got Osborne, who's a true conservative, and I just hope the word gets out.
Sass is grass, he says. Shane Osborne is the guy for Kris Kobach, Phyllis Schlafly, and I don't think Phyllis Schlafly has been wrong about most political and cultural trends, and she's been pretty much right on every major issue, from immigration to education to the family. Hey, Kris, thanks so much for updating us on this race. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll take a break and close out this hour.